Welcome back, everyone. Veterans experience periods of readjustment as they reintegrate into civilian life. Training needed to survive in a war zone, like maintaining constant alertness, might contribute to troubling behaviors back at home, like feeling edgy or being easily startled. Suicide warning signs include feelings of being hopeless, out of control, angry, or trapped. Combat veterans might experience nightmares, sleeplessness, and feelings of abandonment or hopelessness. It can lead to increasing use of alcohol, tobacco, and drugs just to try to cope. Listen to this. There are soldiers who have lost the battle overseas, but there are some right here in our own community who are losing a battle of their own. Nearly 1 in 5 veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan experience post-traumatic stress or depression. Government statistics show 22 veterans die every day from suicide. It's an epidemic that mental health professionals say needs to be stopped, especially with a large active military community and 66,000 veterans in the CSRA. That's why connecting each person with resources is crucial. And the person who is connecting people with resources at the VA in Augusta is with us today. Lisa Gerardo is the Suicide Prevention Coordinator. And Lisa, the VA has just finished a really big focus in September, which was Suicide Prevention Month, suicide awareness, really important. But the campaign was called Be There, and it was about reminding colleagues, friends, family members to be there for veterans and service members by doing simple things like making a phone call, checking on a neighbor, and the idea being that those simple gestures can prevent possibly suicide.
Exactly. We really like to get people to think about suicide, thoughts of suicide, concerns of that as symptoms of distress. And so when you can tune in to a loved one or a friend that seems to be in distress, to be able to reach out to them, to probe if you need to, what's going on, something's changed, that can make a huge difference. It opens the door for them to be able to talk about what's going on.
As I looked up suicide and researched a little bit for this segment, they couldn't say it enough. Talk, talk, talk. That's such an important thing. Are we just more isolated, or is it that depression can make us more isolated?
I think it's probably a little of both. I mean, most of the folks that you will find that are contemplating suicide, a large percentage of them do have a mental health diagnosis like depression. But it's not as simple as saying it's just depression, because a lot of times what we see is folks are struggling with things in their lives that are impacting all aspects, financial and social and relationships, and they just become so overwhelmed. It's swirling around in their head. They don't know where to begin. They don't even know where to begin to talk about anything. And so if someone else can start that conversation, even just by saying, something's changed lately, you're not yourself, that can make the huge difference.
And the VA has put a lot of research into this.
We've done a lot of research, and right before Suicide Prevention Month started, we were able to release our most comprehensive body of research so far. Over 50 million records were analyzed, and it was
50 million.
50 million. So it combined records that are VA, active duty records, reservist records, enrollment, all sorts of things to get the most comprehensive picture that we possibly could get. There was some good news in it. We're seeing that the rate for veterans, although is much higher than civilians, it's not as high as 50% anymore. It's more like 21. So that's a little bit more positive. The 22 a day, we saw a slight decrease, and it's more 20 a day. Still a huge number. But what we thought was significant is that out of that 20, only 6 of those folks are actually engaged in getting health care at the Veterans Administration. And so we really need folks to tune in and to know that there are resources. I tell people all the time who are distressed, this is not your forever feeling. It doesn't have to be. We can help. And so if there are folks out there that have loved ones or friends that they know are veterans, get them connected with with us.
Is it as simple as making a phone call to the VA? How could somebody who's listening right now think, I do have somebody that I need to, what is the first step they need to do?
They can certainly call the VA, and they can get routed to admissions. We do enrollment through the admissions process. A lot of folks call our Veterans Crisis Line for information about how to get connected. They ask for all sorts of things. And then they'll get connected with me and I'll be able to talk to them. Folks walk in. They can walk into the VA and say, I've never gotten care here. I need to see if I'm eligible. I need to get registered. You know, so it doesn't have to be a difficult process.
What would you say to somebody right now about this is your warning sign right now? You need to reach out for help. What are some of the specifics?
I think hopelessness is the biggest thing. I think we tend to say things when we get grumpy or frustrated, like, oh, why do I even bother? But if you're around someone that is their constant kind of dialogue, you really need to look beyond what they're saying and see what's going on. Any significant change in personality, you know, if someone all of a sudden is isolating, not that they're shy people anyway, but they used to be active and social and now they're withdrawn, they're isolating. Sometimes they get really irritable and grumpy and angry, and that's out of character. Any change like that is something to tune into.
We're going to put a lot of these signs to look for on our website. And Lisa, I just want to say that we owe our vets so much. They put their lives on the line for us. When they survive war, when they get back, how sad to think that we're not giving them the support they need to get back into their civilian roles. Thank you for doing what you do, and I hope that people who really needed to hear this are watching today, and go to the website and you will find all the information that you need to make a difference and maybe save someone's life. We'll be right back.
Sometimes it can be as straightforward as I'm thinking about hurting myself. Other times it might be a little bit more nuanced, you know, stating that they feel that they don't have friends, just been down or blue or not interested in things.
Up next, suicide warning signs. Knowing what to look for could save a life.
Come into state.